Alright, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAH. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Welcome back. This is another episode of the DI series. Alright, show for divine intervention. And in this lesson, we're going to go into the three holy children. Okay, otherwise known as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or Azariah, Hananiah, and Mishael. So basically, I'm just gonna go into it, and the point of this series is, to build brothers' faith, as faith boosters, showing you the different instances in which the Lord used divine intervention, all right, to deliver the men of the Lord, all right, or those that put their trust in Him. All right, so without further ado, we're just gonna go right into it. This is prayer of Azariah, all right, chapter 1, verse 21, from the Apocrypha. It says, and let them be confounded. You know what? I'll start at verse 1 and I'll jump down. It says, and they walked in the midst of the fire, praising the Most High and blessing the Lord. Then, and this was after they were cast into the fire that was supposed to burn them up. This was what was going on in the midst of the fire. It says they walked in the midst of the fire, praising the Most High and blessing the Lord. Then Azariah stood up and prayed on this manner, and opening his mouth in the midst of the fire said, Blessed art thou, O Lord, power of our fathers. Thy name is worthy to be praised and glorified forevermore. In the name of the Heavenly Father and His Son is YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Okay, you should get accustomed to that name if you're not familiar with it, because you're going to need to know those names if you even have any chance of being delivered in these times to come. All right, so he goes on in the prayer, and I'm going to jump down to verse 21 to hit the point. Actually, verse 20. It says, Deliver us also according to thy marvelous works, and give glory to thy name, O Lord, and let all them that do thy servants hurt be ashamed. Hey, the scriptures say what? Touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. Okay, so it says, and let them be confounded in all their power and might, and let their strength be broken. And this goes for anybody that comes against us, all right? Anybody that comes against the Lord's servants, this is what's gonna happen to you, man. The Lord ain't gonna, we are the only ones who are literally serving the Lord, and turning back to the Lord and serving Him. So He's not gonna let us perish. All right, if you find gold, and that's the only gold in all the world, what, you just gonna throw it away, destroy it? No. All right, it says, and let them know that thou art the Most High, the only God, and righteous over the whole world. And the king's servants that put them in ceased not to make the oven hot with rosin, pitch, tow, and small wood. Okay, so here it is, and we're gonna read the full context of it in Daniel the 3rd chapter. All right, but I just want to get to the more details of it in here. All right, so it says, and the king's servants that put them in ceased not to make the oven hot with rosin, pitch, tow, and small wood. All right, so they basically they put these ingredients in there, all right, to turn up the heat and really make sure that this furnace that they were going to throw the three holy children in was going to be so hot as to straight burn them upon impact. All right, so it says, so that the flame streamed forth above the furnace 49 cubits. Now, a fire is hot when it jumps up and the flame reaches up very high. Okay, like if you're cooking something on the stove and you put different things together that are not supposed to go together, and it involves fire, and the fire just bursts up. Okay, you step back because that's how hot it is, right? It says, verse 25, and it passed through and burned those Chaldeans it found about the furnace. So it was so hot that if you were even close to the furnace within a certain proximity, you got burnt, roasted. Okay, human barbecue. Verse 26, it says, but the angel of the Lord came down into the oven together with Azarias and his fellows, and smote the flame of the fire out of the oven. See, so Azariah and the rest of the men that were with him, it was only 3 of them, okay, those men that went to throw them into the fire got burnt, and they fell into the furnace, but they didn't perish. Here it is, the people who are coming to throw you into the furnace get burnt because of the heat. But you who are thrown into the furnace doesn't get burnt. Why? Because it says what? The Lord sent an angel down to be with them, to comfort them. It says, and in the midst of the furnace, as it had been a moist, whistling wind, so that the fire touched them not at all, neither hurt nor troubled them. Okay, so you can imagine, like on some Avatar: The Last Airbender, like the angel, doing some like an air ball or something like that, or just manipulating the elements so the fire around them doesn't even touch them. Okay, and they can do that. Okay, and the Lord is going to give us power to do that too. Okay, verse 27, and made the mist of the furnace as it had been a moist whistling wind, so that the fire touched them not at all, neither hurt nor troubled them. Then the three, as out of one mouth, praised, glorified, and blessed the Lord in the furnace. All right, saying, blessed art thou, O Lord of our fathers, O Lord God of our fathers, and to be praised and exalted above forever. All right, now from here, I'm going to jump, all right, into the book of Daniel, the 3rd chapter, and we'll get the full account as to how they ended up in this predicament. Because for the most part, whenever the Lord did that divine intervention, it was when there was no other way out. There was no choice, and He did it to deliver those who ended up in a situation that they could not deliver themselves by trusting in the Lord. Okay, it's like you trust in the Lord and you end up at a dead end, but you remain your trust, and all of a sudden the dead end becomes a clear path. Okay, so in instances like that, it would be either you denying, all right, turning it back on the Lord, or you denying doing something against the Lord, and the Lord will say, all right, since you stood faithful for me, I'm going to deliver you. All right, because I know you can't deliver yourself right now. So this is Daniel chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 8. It says, wherefore at the time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. Now this is during the time of the Babylonian Empire. Okay, so what you had was you had Nebuchadnezzar, okay, and the Assyrians, because Nebuchadnezzar was an Assyrian. Nebuchadnezzar and the ruling class of the Babylonians were Assyrian, as those that were ruling over were, you had a mixture of different people. All right, you had Cushites, Hamites, all of that up in there. Okay, and it's just like America today. America, you have so-called Chinese, you have Israelites in here, you have all different types of people in here, but it's ruled by one class of people, which the ruling elite are the Edomites, Esau. Okay, so we're not Edomites, but we're ruled by Edomites, and we're living under one so-called empire. So that's similar to what was going on back then, which is why this is what modern day Babylon. Okay, the daughter of Babylon, or Babylon the Great, aka America. Verse 9, they spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. So that's like in today's day and age, when the Pledge of Allegiance comes on and they tell you, everybody has to stand and pledge allegiance to the flag, or whatever the case may be. It's sort of like that. And I remember in middle school, they would try to make you get up and pledge allegiance to this stupid ass flag. Why the hell are you going to pledge allegiance to a nation that enslaved you and still has you in slavery? All right. So it was a similar case. All right. Now it says, and whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Now, in this day and age, if they say stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance and you like, nah, I ain't gonna do it, what they gonna do? They're not gonna throw you in jail, okay? Or they're not gonna throw you in a fiery furnace, all right? But back then it was more severe. So verse 12, it says, then there were certain Jews from whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and these were their Babylonian names. All right, because when Babylon, all right, so when the Babylonians, or when Nebuchadnezzar had, come to Jerusalem, okay, the first time around 605, when he took Daniel and he took some of the nobility, he brought them back to Babylon. And when you read in the book of Daniel, the 1st chapter, it tells you how they were to be trained all right, to speak the Babylonian tongue, all right, and to be trained in the Babylonian ways, because they were nobility. Those that were smarter, those that had certain traits, they would train them and put them in high positions within their empire as to further their empire. Okay, it wasn't just I'm gonna kill you just because you were Israelite. No, if you have use, I'm gonna use you. All right. So it says, these men, O king, have not regarded thee, and they serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. And sooner or later, Daniel also had to face the same predicament. All right, when they found out that he was praying to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, they used that as an excuse to try and cast him into the lion's den, which they did, and he was also delivered. All right, it says verse 13. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. So you have to understand that Nebuchadnezzar, all right, the Lord gave him that power. The Lord put him in that status to fulfill prophecy. All right, but he got proud. All right, the same way the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart so he can destroy him, the Lord put Nebuchadnezzar on a certain level, and Nebuchadnezzar got proud, thinking it was all him, you know, and thus he started doing all these different things. Oh, worship me, do such and such, and the Lord humbled him eventually too. Verse 14. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do ye not serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made, all right, which would be what? Idolatry, which is the first commandment you're not supposed to break, all right? Thou shalt have no other gods before me, okay? It says, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? See, that he goes getting proud again. All right. So he's telling them, look, I'm gonna give you the opportunity. All right. I heard that you're not worshiping my gods, but I'll give you the chance to redeem yourself because I like you guys. You know. So here it is. When the time comes and they start playing the music, all right. If you bow down, you're gonna be good. I'm gonna forgive it. But if you don't, I'm gonna burn your ass. And that's gonna be your judgment, capital punishment. Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. Let me look up the word careful. Okay. Chashak. It says to need, have need, the thing needed. A collateral root to one corresponding to, okay, let's see what this says. Oh, to make haste, okay, to show haste, to act quickly, to be excited, to, okay. So let's put that in context. So they told Nebuchadnezzar, it says, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. Okay, so we're not quick or in haste to answer you in this matter. It says, if it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us, all right, from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. So they told him straight up, all right, the Most High, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, they're going to deliver us, all right. It says, but if not, because that's just the truth, you know, like, it's not even trying to sound arrogant or proud, but that's just the truth. You know, that's like when you tell somebody the truth about what the matter is, that you're a prophet, they look at you like you're some proud ass, like who the hell you think you are to go around talking about you a prophet. But it gets to a certain point where I can't say that any more humbler than I did. You know what I'm saying? How you know all this? How do you know everything you say is going to come to pass? How, all these things are happening, how do you know it? Because the Lord showed it to me. I'm a prophet. At that point, they look at you like you're the proudest, most arrogant person alive. But it's just the truth, you know? So in this case, they telling him, look, we're not gonna front. We ain't gonna lie to you. The Most High is gonna deliver us. That's why we're not gonna bow down to your gods. You know, we can't butter it up. We can't do anything else but tell you what it is. Verse 18. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. His visage meaning his look, his countenance. All right. So now he's looking at him with a oh, who the fuck you, man? You know. It says, therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. Damn. So that's like if usually the punishment is this, he said turn that shit up 7 times, man. Make sure it's super hot, because he was pissed. You know, he wanted to see them come like burnt, you know, to a crisp. All right. Verse 20, and he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. So he said, get them big, bro, like get them big niggas and bring them here. Let them tie them up. Them Hulk-looking dudes. All right. So I know for sure that you're gonna throw them in the furnace, man. Okay. So it says to bind. So they didn't just come and say, all right, you follow us. No, they came. If you're bound, that means you can't move. They tied you up. All right. Verse 21. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the fire of the burning fiery furnace. All right. So their clothes on and everything. They said, look, here you go, man. Toss them up in there. Verse 22. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, the furnace was exceeding hot. The flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, like we read in the Apocrypha. All right, the fire was so hot that it killed those that brought them to throw them into it, man. It says, and these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. So they were thrown up in there, still bound, tied up, whatever the case may be. So they like, look, we gonna make sure that you roast, all right? And you can't move, you can't do nothing, man. But whether they tied their legs together and their arms together, whatever they did, they had them bound, all right? It says, then Nebuchadnezzar, the king was astonied, in other words, astonished or surprised, and rose up in haste. All right, so you can imagine him probably sitting back, you know, slouched, okay, looking at it, all excited and shit. Yeah. I thought y'all was the shit, right? Oh, your God is going to deliver you? Okay, let him deliver you from this. Probably speaking in his tongue, all right? You know, laughing around and stuff like that. Yeah, let me see this shit. All right. It says, was astonished and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said to the king, true, O king. So he's like, so he must have seen some shit. It says, he answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God, meaning looking like an angel. You know? So 1 second you chilling, like the same thing that happened to Belshazzar. You know, 1 second you chilling, whoa, yo. You know, you calling your you on some Mr. Krabs. I don't know if y'all seen the meme. There's a meme where, you know, he's looking left, right. It's like your mind is all messed up. You know, because 1 second you chill, then next thing you know, your heart is racing at you know, on record speeds. Cause he's like, yo, hold up, wait, whoa. Am I tripping? That's why it says he asked them. He said, look, didn't we throw 3 people in here tied up? They're like, yeah. He's like, so why do I see 4 people? You know, so imagine that. He probably seen the figure of an angel, much taller than the rest of the 3. Probably had wings and everything. You know, so here it is. He's losing his shit. Verse 26. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God. Oh, all of a sudden now you ready to acknowledge that they serve the Most. Hey, you see how the Lord can quickly humble down people, man. All right, you see how he quickly switched up his vibe. It says, ye servants of the Most High God. Oh, now you reverence their God or our God as the Most High God. Come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. So you can imagine these men walking through fire, and they all good. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power. All right, nor was an hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Imagine that. Literally, you like they were in a position of no other way than death. Like, you're bound to die. We're throwing you in the hot ass fire. There's no way, there's no humanly possible way that you're gonna survive this. But we don't deal with human possibilities, man. Because with the Most High, anything is possible. As we just saw here, divine intervention. Okay? So the Lord had an angel come in there on behalf of these three holy children and deliver them from the fire, man. To where they didn't even smell the scent of smoke on them. Alright? And your hair, once it catches fire, it's gone. It's like a wildfire in the forest, man. Your shit's gonna be gone, man. You bald certain areas, you got patches in the corners, you know, burnt up, singed. Okay, if the fire catches it, that's what it's gonna look like. But here it is, they were all good. So if they had a fro, that fro was still good. Okay, their clothes weren't burnt. All right, it wasn't ripped up, none of that. Okay, verse 28. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, "Blessed," and a modern day example could be something like, if they were to say, take the chip, and you like, nah, I'm not gonna take the chip. You know, you denounce that. You say, look, whatever you gonna do it, because we're not taking that chip. And they say, all right, so they take you, all right, before a guillotine, and they got your neck on the wherever it is, and they got the blade up top, and everybody standing there, all right, those that are about to cut your head off, those that are broadcasting it, all of them standing there, the government agents, everybody, are certain in their mind that once they pull that lever, within a span of seconds, your head is coming off. There's a sharp blade that's coming to chop your head off. It is not humanly possible to escape that situation. Your hands are bound. You're put in a position where you're about to be decapitated. All right, and they drop it. They pull the lever. Here, next thing you know, the freaking blade breaks upon your neck. You know, and you burst out of those shackles with spiritual power. That is an example of divine intervention. See, that's what we mean when we say divine intervention, where impossibility becomes a possibility. All right, where a place that seems that you can't escape becomes the only way of escape. You know, that is how the Lord does it, man. He sets it up nicely, okay, to where you seem as though it seems as though he put you in a dead end, but he only did that so he can show his power as to how he can change a dead end into an open path. All right. So it says, then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. So here it is, Nebuchadnezzar all of a sudden want to become a believer, you know, because at that point you can't doubt it. People, look, man, people are going to see, all right, the power of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI in these days through his men. And they're going to have nothing to say but to believe that this has to be the work of the supernatural power. This Yahawah and YAHAWASHI that they keep calling on, he's real. They're going to believe it, that he's real. Now, some of them might not want to worship and accept him, but they're going to know damn well that Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI is the one and true only power. The same way Nebuchadnezzar acknowledged it here, people in the world, all right, after the time that we're coming into, after this is over, after Jacob's trouble, the whole world will know that Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI are the one and true, the only powers that exist. They're going to know that. Trust and believe that. Okay? Just like in ancient Egypt. Israel got established after ancient Egypt, after what happened in Egypt. And we're going to be established fully after what happens in this modern day Egypt. All right. Verse 29, Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. So see how, because of their trust in Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, their life and death situation turned into a benefit for them, to where even the king decided to make a decree in support, all right, of their worship. Now, we know it's different now because the scriptures say Esau, his dumbass, all right, he going to try to fight against the Most High. Here it is, Nebuchadnezzar, he was an Assyrian. So at least he had some sense in him. But Esau, his pride, that's why I told you in the book of Obadiah that the pride of thine heart has deceived thee. Their pride is going to block them from bowing down. And the Lord has made it that way so he can put them down. Okay? But yeah, this is pretty much it. Okay, that concludes the episode. Lord willing, it was edifying and faith boosting to the elect, man. Just showing you that, look, trust in the Lord, even if it seems like there's no way out. Your only thing to do is to trust in the Lord, man. Don't take the path that you do see just because it's convenient or it might save your life or Esau's presenting to you and it's tempting. No, take the path that the Lord said to take. All right. If the path of the Lord is a dead end, it doesn't matter. Take it. Okay, take it. So with that, I'm going to end it here. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Until next time, Shalom.